What are you laughing at over there, boy? More chocolate milk. You're going to have a hard poo-poos.
I just go to.
All right. Okay, guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction, and I share my life with you. Let me get you guys in the light so you can see me. I am on my computer today because we're gonna have a guest speaker today, you guys. Will you lower that just a little bit, son? Just a little bit. Here, in fact, I'll do it. Just lower it just a little bit. There you go. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Hey, Krissy. Hey, Heather. Hey, Megan. Hey, David. What's up? Thanks, you guys. Oh, you can't see me, can you? All right. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? So I have my phone right here because I can see the chat like that. I can't see the chat unless I have my phone out. So, boop. Okay, guys. So what's up? Welcome back. Welcome to my channel, y'all. It's my 4-year sobriety birthday. Can you even freaking believe it? Can you guys believe it? I'm so freaking excited to be alive and to be sober and to be able to have a platform on freaking YouTube, and so I can share my experience with you guys and share my story. And it literally gives me life, you guys, to be able to come on here and talk with you guys every single day. Thanks. Was it? Do you really think so? So I just saw your comment. Who said that? Shoot. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to get your. There we go. Okay. Hey, Cindy. What's up? Thanks, David. Your last live was great today. I enjoyed it. Awesome. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Good, Heather. That makes me so happy to hear it. I love sharing just like my life with you guys. And so what I want to do right now while we are chilling and waiting for my guest speaker to come on, I want to talk to you guys. And if you have any questions whatsoever, it doesn't matter what the question is. It could be anything. Hey, man, what's up? Hey, Cindy. Hey, everybody in the chat. Any questions that you have, if you guys will type them down in the comments right now, any questions that you want to ask me, anything at all, feel free to ask. I will not be offended. If it's something that you think that would make me upset, I'm sure it won't. Do not be ashamed or embarrassed. There's no stupid questions. You know, I want to help you guys. And so if you have questions that you want to ask, and you ask me anything. Okay. Hey, Amy, what's up, girl? So while I'm waiting on you guys to give me some questions, I will just, how many years were you in active addiction? Okay, that's a great question, Heather. Thank you for asking. So I started using drugs when I was 17 years old, you guys. So I got sober at 32. So I was in active addiction from 17 till I was 32. So I think that's 17, 18, 19, 20. Is that 6, 13, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15 years. 15 years of active addiction. How to prevent a relapse, Krissy. Okay, Krissy, what's up? That is also a really, really good question. The way I would prevent a relapse, or my suggestion to somebody that is wanting to work on relapse prevention, I would, Nathaniel, stop it. Yes, hold on, son. Okay, so relapse prevention is super, super important, especially when you're like, you know, in the first year of your sobriety. Like I call 1 year and under like new recovery, right? Even after that, like when I was at 2 years sober, I was still brand new baby, right? So relapse prevention, first of all, you need to have a support system, all right? Everyone's support system is different. So right now, write down number 1, support system. And what I mean by support system, I don't mean your mom and dad. I don't mean your brother and sister. I mean, they can be a part of your support system. But I mean addicts in recovery who have been sober longer than you, that you can call and say, I'm struggling. I need help. Let's go to a meeting. Can you come over? I'm thinking about getting high. Okay. So first and foremost, a support system, other people who have been sober longer than you have. Okay. And then, like I said, your parents, your mom, your sisters, brothers, loved ones, boyfriends, wives, they can also be your support system, but your main support system needs to be other people in recovery that know what you're going through. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing for relapse prevention is have a plan. Okay, I had to learn to start scheduling my days. When I first got sober, I was just wandering around blindly, just didn't know what I was doing each day.
We need to go get the gray one. Right now, there's like treasure in it.
Okay, baby, hold on.
Look.
I didn't know what I was doing each day, right? I was just wandering around without any focus ahead of me. So what I learned in my sobriety is that planning my days, even if it's planning it hour by hour, especially, is super duper important, you guys.
Mom,
Get yourself a piece of paper, get yourself a planner, a calendar,
Mom?
and plan your days.
Can you
okay?
make the dog come with
On
me?
Mondays, I do meetings from 6 to 7. Then from 8 to 9, I go out to eat breakfast. Then, seriously, get a planner and start planning your days hour by hour. At the beginning, sometimes that's what you got to do.
I need to show you something. Come on.
Son? Hold on, guys. Nathaniel, I'm about to spank your butt.
What? It's really cool.
And no, you cannot have any more chocolate milk. You've had enough. I'm not going down there with you, son. Go grab it. Bring it. Right here. Go grab it. Go grab it. Go. I'm coming, guys. Hey, I love you, but I'm criminal. You know what I'm doing.
Mom?
Come on.
Some sort of digging.
What?
You need to dig inside of this thing?
No, you don't dig inside of it.
I can do it if I want.
Okay, well, you do that.
Because my dad said I need to.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got support and plan. Planning and support. Those are the first two things for relapse prevention. Okay. The third thing that I think that is really important that you have for your relapse prevention is a home group, whether it be an AA, NA, it could be a group of addicts and alcoholics like we have here on this channel, but a place where you go and they all know your name, kind of like Cheers. So that way, that's that added backup. That's that added backup of accountability. Okay, super duper important, you guys. So have yourself a home group. So support, planning, and a home group. Okay, and then the fourth thing that I think that you need to help prevent a relapse is honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Like, these things are so important because we have to be honest with ourselves, because that's the hardest part, is getting honest, admitting that we have a problem, and then accepting it, and then tackling that problem and finding the solution. I had to finally learn that drugs and alcohol were not my problem, you guys. It was me that was the problem, and I had to start making changes in my life. All right, so if you guys need any help, if you are in recovery and you're struggling with staying sober and you need help building a plan, a relapse prevention plan, all you have to do is email me and I will help you build a plan. That's all you got to do. Okay? All right. So let me get y'all's comments. I'm seeing them right now. Okay. Let's see what y'all are saying. Sorry, guys. I'm coming back up there now. Okay. So did that answer your question, Khaleesi? When is your birthday and what is your favorite color? March 8th, and purple and yellow are my favorite colors. Congrats, Nicole. So inspiring. It is possible. That's right. You guys, Amy, I'm so excited to be here to share with you guys, because when people would come on and they would go to AA meetings and they would tell their stories and they would have 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, a year, I can remember sitting in the meeting and thinking, I'll never make it to that. I'll never have multiple years. You know, I'll never be able to get to that point. I never thought I would be here. I never thought I can sit here and tell you guys honestly that I haven't drank, I haven't smoked, I haven't shot, I haven't snorted, I haven't popped. Like, this is a miracle. This is a miracle. Okay. Hey, Captain. Happy 4th. Thank you, girl. You're the softball flying through the air, and your support system is the glove, catching you before you fly over the fence. That's right, Heather. Khaleesi, girl, listen, I hear that. Drugs are expensive. The group, The Recovery, told me about this group. Thank you for sharing. Hey, main man. Yeah, he's going to come over and tell his story today. I'm just waiting for him to get a hold of me, and he's going to come on. Okay. So anybody else, do y'all have any more questions? If you don't, that's okay. I totally understand. You don't have to ask questions. I just thought it could kind of be fun because sometimes I get on tangents and I just start sharing all these things. And so I shared a whole bunch in the live stream that we had earlier. I was actually on here for 2 hours, you guys, just sharing about my experience in active addiction and what it was like, you know, at certain parts of my addiction. You know, I shared in my last video, you're still 12 stepping. Good, Khaleesi. Have you gotten a sponsor yet? If you haven't, get a sponsor. I'm telling you, it'll really help out a lot. And here's another thing, you guys, like, a sponsor, like, isn't your boss. They're not somebody that's like going to tell you what to do. It's just somebody to help make suggestions and take you through the 12 steps. Like, seriously. That's what I used to say. DARE stood for drugs are really expensive. Oh, good, Khaleesi. That makes me so happy to hear that. So, yeah, relapse prevention. If you need help, like I said, we can make a plan. If you guys, okay, first of all, if you guys want me to help you tailor a relapse prevention plan to your specific needs, seriously, like, I have a Patreon. If you want to join over there, you can. It's $5, and I will help you, like, literally write out a plan of action for you in your recovery. If you cannot join Patreon because you can't afford it, that's cool too. Just email me and tell me that you need help making a plan, and I will still make a plan for you. Okay? So I have, you know, I'm not going to just like say you have to be on my Patreon to get the benefits, because that's not what it is. Yes, the Patreon is, and here's the link for my Patreon. Okay, the Patreon is, you know, helps my channel and helps me to be able to, like, buy a laptop. That's what I did with the money I got from my Patreon, is I bought this laptop. Did I just write that out and it doesn't even, like, that makes me so upset that it's not.
Mom, this used to be gray and it said you have to dig through it, and now look what it looks like. This.
What? Let me see that.
You have some sort of like writing.
Why are you taking it apart?
It's supposed to
Hey, first and last.
It's supposed to have that. My dad said dig through there and see if there's any like gray.
Hey guys, we do have a Facebook group. If you guys want me to, it's Real Talk Recovery. That's the Facebook group. And then I am Nicole Pludre on Facebook. Hey, hey Jeff, are you wanting me? I'm gonna send you a Hangouts invite, okay? Hey, all right. Okay. Hey, what's your is it The Recovery that I'm looking for? Recovery. Hey, what's your name on Hangouts, Jeff? Let me know so that way I can find you to send you this invite, okay? Ploudre. Yep, that's my last name. Ploudre. Hey, Kim. Thank you, Megan. You're so awesome, girl. You did not have to do that. Okay, Jeff, take your time. We're just talking over here. Just take your time. You let me know when you're ready, okay? We're just shooting the shit. So, shout out, Megan. Thank you so much, girl. So, you guys, let me tell you a little bit of story about Megan, because Megan is DLO 2377. So, Megan came to the channel. What was it, Megan? Maybe a month ago? Oh, no, first and last. That is fine. Go right ahead. Megan came on my channel about a month ago and was just like hanging out in the chat, talking with all of us. And I remember I reached out to her on Instagram because I told her, like, hey, Heather, thanks, girl. I love you too. Y'all are so awesome. I really appreciate it. Like, seriously. Seriously. Thank you so much. And listen, like, you ladies, if you, like, seriously, if you want support and you want to join my Patreon, seriously, come over and join Patreon. It's me, Annie, Krissy, Sonia, Amber, oh gosh, Hannah, Lord, I'm like losing, Angel, Marissa. There's like literally 8 of us. Okay, I got you. And it's really awesome. Like, it's a bunch of us girls, and I don't take guys because I don't have the resources to help the guys, but I take girls, and we have a lot of support over there. So if you guys want to join us, I would love for y'all to join us. 101715. Okay, y'all.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
I did tell you something. Can they not hear me if I go quiet?
Nate, stop. I need you to be really quiet while I'm doing this meeting, okay? You've been so good today.
I'm trying to make this thing white.
All right, I see you. There you are. Here I go. Invite. Bing. Okay. Hey. Okay. Hey, Annie. Will you link my Patreon to where it does that hyperlink like you were telling me about? Please, Nate, stop.
Hey, Nate.
I'm going to spank your butt if you don't stop.
Mom, can you get this white out of here?
Okay, anyways, I'm not over here trying to it's my Patreon is there for if you ladies want to join. It's just called Real Talk Recovery, just like my YouTube pages. So take your time. If you want to join, y'all are all invited. So anyways, tonight we're going to have my friend Jeff on, you guys. Jeff also has a channel. He's in the chat right now. His channel is called The Recovery. And he is going to share his experience, strength, and hope with you guys, okay? Which is just his story of recovery, and, you know, what it took for him to get himself together. And I'm excited because, honestly, I don't know his whole story. So I'm going to be sitting here. I'm going to listen, and I'll kind of help him out. Hey, Cassie, what's up, girl? Welcome to the channel. I'll help him out if he gets a little bit behind, but I think he's going to do just fine. Oop. What's up, Cassie? Welcome. I'm so glad you're here, girl. How are you? Tell us how you got here, where you came from. Right, let me send you. I'm sending you another invite, Jeff, just in case you didn't get that one. Okay. So I guess I'll go ahead and talk to you guys about me while we're waiting for Jeff. Nate, can you please move, son? Move. Thank you.
I'm trying. Sorry,
you guys. My son is 5 years old. Just so you know I have a lot of new subscribers. And my little boy he loves talking to my subscribers. I let him come on here and talk to you guys sometimes. And then there's other days where he just likes to be a Rudy Tooty. So today he has been fed. We went out and had a great time. We went to Chuck E. Cheese again today and played video games. And now it's time for mommy to do her live stream with her Real Talk Recovery family. And so this is his time to chill out, watch TV, and just enjoy himself. And so I just don't want you guys to think that I'm not, you know.
The map says, the map on the box said, dig in here, and there's a different picture.
Okay.
So.
Okay, baby. That's fine if that's what you want to do. Okay.
Well, the map said it.
Okay. Hey, Heather. Girl, it didn't listen to me. That whole, and he just texted me earlier today. That's what I was trying to get at to tell you guys. He texted me earlier today and he was like, thank you so much for recovery. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, what's up? It's good to see you.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Okay,
All right.
good deal. All right, you guys. So this is Jeff. He has a channel here on YouTube called The Recovery, and he was in the chat earlier, and he is here tonight to share his story with us. I'm super excited. If you guys haven't already, go over and subscribe to his channel. Comment on his videos. Give them thumbs up. Tell him I sent you over there. I have never had a man on my channel share their story. So I'm super duper excited because, well, it's just good because I know I have a lot of male viewers and you guys always get to hear about me. And so now today we get to hear about you, Jeff. So I'm super excited. I am going to be quiet and listen. And if you need anything, you just let me know, okay?
Awesome. My name's Jeff. Basically, I'm a recovering addict. Basically, I found recovery back in 2012 after my second prison number. Excuse the Band-Aid. I'm legally blind, so I busted my nose today. So
you're fine.
Yeah, but anyways, I actually stumbled into a 12-step group now. I just started attending, really hopefully not to, violate and go back to prison. And but I stuck with it and I kept going. And I grew up in a family with my mother was an addict, lower middle class family. So growing up, that addiction, was just part of my life. My mom, my dad fighting over money, different things like that was just part of my life growing up. So, through my teens, I naturally, I guess, kind of got into using, and I really got into hustling more so than anything in the beginning. And basically, it progressed from, from selling to and just smoking a little pot to, naturally into pills and other things as I got older. But
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Whenever you were younger and you were growing up, you said that your mom was an addict, right?
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, was there do you think that because all that dysfunction and not having that stability in your family that maybe did that kind of make you think I'm never going to be like my mom? Or did you end up going the opposite way and going, you know what, I'm going to try that because it made you curious?
Actually, I never wanted to be like I love my mother. She really tried hard, but she was an addict. But I hated pills. I hated people who did pills. I used to get into it with people who would, sell to my mom and stuff. So I really hated it and despised. I did not want to be an addict like that, And I had an injury, but I think a lot of that played into me being an addict later in life, even though I hated it, and that's the last thing I wanted to be. All my relationships were codependent, unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? So I think it definitely played into that. But yeah. So as I got older, how it progresses into harder stuff. After I had an injury, is when I actually started using pain medicine. And I had a couple of injured vertebrae in my back. Basically, I got on Oxycontin from that injury, which, after a year, I basically was not able to keep seeing a doctor. I didn't have insurance and things. So I was already addicted by that point of using my medicine, by that point. But, I tried to do other things to get clean. I ended up in a methadone clinic, which I'm not, I'm all about maintenance and not, I'm all about maintenance if that helps people. Just for me, the methadone clinic I was in, I wasn't ready to get clean. I was still using those pills and everything else. So, I went back and forth from trying a little bit to get clean, easy, and not, I wasn't really all the way into it. And
So can I ask you a question?
yeah,
So whenever you were on your medication that you were prescribed for your injury, right? Okay, so before you got prescribed that medication, were you like already dabbling with drugs and like kind of like selling drugs and then like getting drugs, or were you like just living your life and then you got prescribed and then you started getting on drugs?
well, no, I was definitely into selling drugs by the time I was 14, and by the time I was 18, I was pretty heavy into hustling, and I was using like pot, other things. I never really, I used pot and drank was primarily what I did, like teenage stuff. So I mean, I was definitely on my way down that road, probably either way, but I tried to stay away from the pills just because what I seen my mom go through.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got the prescription, it wasn't like within that month I was hooked. Within the first month, I kind of knew I had a problem, and I remember once I ran out of medicine, calling to get more medicine and knowing, hey, you're addicted. You know what I mean? I remember that thought, and
What was it like? What was it like the first time you ever took the pain pills? What went through your mind? Like, what was the experience for you?
oh, it was. I mean, I thought they were great. I mean, I had two injured discs in my back, and broke ribs at the time I first got them, and I remember I was able to get up and go walk. I mean, so I really, I mean, I should have knew that first time, but it was so euphoric. I mean,
It was like your best friend. You just found your best friend.
yeah, I mean, it made me comfortable, because
Yeah.
that's what got me into hustling was, with the way I grew up, I was a little bit poor. I have hereditary eye disease, so like I was able to see and drive growing up and them things, but I knew there was a possibility I might go blind later in life. So like, you know, you know how it is. You're not comfortable in your own skin, and that's a lot of times why we end up using sometimes.
Right. So when you took the pills, it gave you confidence. I was the same. It gave you confidence, made you feel like, for me, when I first took opiates, which was, I was already in my addiction really far, but the first time I ever took opiates, I was probably like 17 or 18 and a half, but I'd already started like with meth and stuff. So I was like doing that, but I hadn't really done opiates. And my mom was on my live stream earlier today, and she said she remembers the first time I ever was prescribed Percocet. She goes, I looked over and Nicole was lit up like a light bulb, because it was like I took Percocet and it made me feel like I could do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made me feel like I could clean the house, I could go to school, I could have all my friends over and be like the best hostess, and it made me feel like I was a better version of myself. That's what it was.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you exactly. It was I would that's one of the things that I think I was hooked so fast because of that. And, I don't know that it took me a lot. I went down a lot of a long road before I got sober. I mean, after that, and I remember when it clicked that I knew I was addicted and I had a problem and I was becoming what I hated. But that wasn't enough to stop me. And I kept going and within a couple of years, I'd say by the time I was 25, 26, I was just hustling to support my habit. I was stealing, whatever I had to do, I mean, and so how it is. You just to feed that addiction, you'll do whatever, almost anything. And I remember some of the stuff I used to do. I look back now and I'm like, wow, man, you stole steaks, like from every, just stupid stuff to support that habit.
I've gone inside the Kroger before and stole like crab legs and steaks, packages of steak, to take to my dope dealer, because he was like, you ain't got no money? Okay, this is what I need. It wrote me a little list,
I remember somebody, one of the guys I knew, he would send me around Christmas time lists for his kids, and it's, that's the insanity of it. And I ended up, moving, downtown just because the lifestyle I was living, I just kept going further and further down. And I went to prison for a year around 24, and I got out and I really didn't want to stay. I don't think I knew, I went home to my parents. I went home right back to where I came from. So I didn't have any tools I didn't really try to plug into recovery at that point. So it ended up till my, years, 5 more years of my life went by before I ended up actually trying to plug into recovery. And that was after my second prison number. And, I went through rehab, like a rehab program in prison, and that's not what helped me. I got out, I was homeless. I lost my mother like 3 years after, or not 3 months after getting out.
When you went to prison the second time, what happened? Did you get caught selling dope? Did you get in trouble for like robbing somebody? What?
The charge was burglary, a felony 3, and I was doing dirt. I ain't gonna lie, but I was never one to do a B&E or nothing like that. But I was in the wrong place for a time.
Hey, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. You got to do what you got to do. And when you're in your active addiction, you're not thinking like, I mean, I've done all kinds of horrible things, and you are a totally new person now,
Yeah, no, and I'm not ashamed. Like I said, I regret, I pled out to something that I shouldn't have really, but at the same time, I was so sick of that lifestyle by that point. I actually pled out that I figured that was my karma for all the years of what I've done. And I pled out. I figured that was the only chance I had to get help. I made the best of it. But I was trying to support my addiction. It boils down to that. Either way is why I was at the place I was and everything. But the main thing I could say that was different when I got out the second time was my mother was in a nursing home at this point. My dad was too. I got out. By this point, I realized, like, hey, you're actually going to be at least legally blind or more, and, a lot of things hit me at once. I'm 30 years old. I wasted my whole 20s, and I'm in a homeless shelter, just got out of prison. And luckily, the little bit of recovery I had in prison, I went ahead and I still tried to find some recovery outside. And I stumbled into a 12-step meeting, and it was a Celebrate Recovery 12-step meeting. But, I stumbled into that, and, them people actually really tried to support me. And they really, them people giving me a chance, they give me little odd jobs. They try to help me out, give me a hand up. And but they would trust me. They put a lot of faith in me, and just that positive support. Even though I had I relapsed a few times after 2012, but I always kept plugged into them people and my original, that original group, and they always would extend. If they didn't hear from me, they'd reach out, and I really believe that was the changing part of my life, was just having that positive support. Because as addicts, we live such an unhealthy, life. And I mean, I remember being 30 years old, like, oh, this is wrong, like realizing, like, doctor, like seeing my mom doctor shop when I was younger, just things that were so normal, and realizing how sick the disease was, that I had. So
listen, so whenever you are Celebrate Recovery is an amazing program, and my sponsor my sponsor took me through the Celebrate Recovery 12 steps, which are the exact same, only they have like, the biblical version of the 12 steps where they incorporate that into them. But so those are the 12 steps my sponsor worked me through. But what it sounds like, or what I'm gathering from you telling your story, is that you didn't have any positive support your whole life.
No.
And so now, I mean, you were doomed from the beginning, from the start, really. I mean, you grew up, your mom was a drug addict. You didn't have like a good foundation. You ended up going the wrong way, selling drugs, getting in trouble because of your addiction, going to prison over it, and then you're going legally blind. And so I can imagine that having that disability, being legally blind, that contributes. I know for me, the things that I have, like being overweight, my eating, okay, that really affects me with my self-esteem and my self-confidence. So I can imagine being a man and coming out of prison, having an addiction, not having that support system in your family, like a lot of people do, that I take that for granted, having my mom and dad, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so coming out and getting involved in Celebrate Recovery was the best thing that you could have ever done, because those people were able to give you that support that you hadn't had ever. And so once you got that support, I bet you started just blossoming and becoming like the person that you were always meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just took longer for you to get there because you didn't ever have that support. And that's why it's so important for us that now that we're sober is to give that support to other people that were just like that, you know, because so many people have that same experience. They never had a chance. They started out on the wrong foot, you know?
Yeah. And that's the I wanted to share my experience with. If I can get sober, you know, being visually impaired in a homeless shelter with 2 prison numbers, and then if I can lead a decent life and be a good father, you know, anyone has that chance. But I guess my best advice is I did an interview with a doctor about a month ago, and he broke it down as, you know, recovery is not, recovery is a big part of getting well from addiction, but a lot of it's community, you know, and that, you know, and who you put yourself around and them things. And that's one thing, you know, I've had to cut off. Like, I got a brother who's getting ready to get out of prison, and I'm going to help him try to get into sober living and them things and help support him what I can. But I got to keep a distance from him. I can't just offer him to come stay with me or anything like that. And he's blind as well, you know, and I would love to have him come stay here, but I know I've tried that. I've had to kick him out, and I know I got to keep that boundary up, even though I love my brother and I'll help him any way I can, but I got to do it from a distance because otherwise I'm jeopardizing my sobriety, you know. And that's the hard thing about this disease, you know. You know, you do got to cut you not cut them out, but you got to distance yourself from people if they're in your family that's using. I mean, that's
For
hard
sure. My little sister, I got sober, and my little sister didn't get sober until a year and a half after I got sober. So we were like we ran the streets together. So I got sober and I couldn't see her for like over a year because anytime if she did come around, she was high, and it just bothered me so much. So I just stopped going around my sister, and not like if she was at my parents' house, I wouldn't go that day, you know, because it affected me so much. And what happens with it when it's like our brother or our sister, it's like that's such an emotional connection between you and your brother. And like what happens is we get sucked in, and we can get affected and not even realize that we're getting sucked in. And then the next thing you know, bam, we're relapsing, you know. It just happens that quickly. And so I'm glad to hear that you're like understanding that you have to protect your sobriety, because you can love your brother, you can help him, you can set him up for success, but away from you. Like, don't bring him in underneath your house, because then what happens is if he disrespects you, and then that's extra stress added onto you, and then stress like starts, and then it's just a recipe for disaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing is it took me realizing how unhealthy a lot of my family relationships were. Like my mother, when she passed, it got to a point where me and my mom actually used together. So I hate to say it, but when she passed 3 months after I got out, it was almost like, I don't want to, it was almost better for me to get sober. I hate to say that because I love my mom dearly. Like, but I don't know that I'd have got sober if she would have lived another 5 years. I hate to say that, but it's just that, you know how.
I mean, but I understand what you're saying though. It's like, and that's a lot of the times I feel like, you know, other people have to go for us to realize that we have to change our lives. Can you imagine if your mom was still alive and she just passed away of old age, right? And
But
she
my
died.
mom,
Yeah.
no, she died because she had liver issues from using her whole life and done things. She was only like 62 when she passed, but her body
Well,
was like as if it was 79.
can you imagine like you guys together and she stayed alive? And then, I don't know. I understand what you're saying though. Like, she had to go on because if she hadn't, you might still be getting high today.
Yeah, no, that woke me up to that I needed to have, that I needed if I was going to be any bit of my family's life, I had to have certain boundaries to be able to do that, to be able to live a decent life myself. So, and that's one thing, like I got to protect my daughter from that now, because I realize the stuff I went through growing up with a mother who was an addict, and my dad had to look. He wasn't. My dad was a good man. Might have had a little bit of bipolar. But so growing up in a family like that, you know what I'm saying. He might have had a little mental illness. So them two things alone set it just makes your kids' chances that much higher of it
Right.
trickling down to them. And that's the last thing I want, and it's for my daughter to ever have to go through some of the things I did.
Right. Man,
Yeah.
so how long have you been sober? Tell everybody how long you've been sober.
I got sober in 2014. That was my last relapse. So, it's been almost coming up on 6 years.
That's so amazing. Like,
yeah,
that's a miracle.
Yeah, congratulations to you on the 4 years, by the way. That's
Hey,
awesome.
look at me. I'm so freaking excited. Like, I cannot even believe it, Jeff. Like, seriously, I never, ever, like, I could just cry thinking about it. I never thought that I would be able to not shoot up. Like, I thought I was going to die with a needle in my arm, And so I'm just grateful to be alive today. I really, really am. And tell me what you think about this. I think that we are so lucky because we have gotten to live two lives. We have gotten to be at the very bottom, and now it's like I'm at the top. So I've experienced the worst of the worst, and I feel like now I'm experiencing the best of the best. And so it just makes me that much more grateful for the life that I do have.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I want to say. I have a whole new perspective on life, now, like, even with my disability, like I don't let that hold me back. I jog a couple miles, not on a treadmill. I mean, I jog down the road, and I'm going to do it as long as I can see enough to do it. You know what I'm saying? I have to use a cane sometimes, like to get around inside. But my point with all that is we can do whatever we train ourselves to do, and that's the one thing is you gotta flip everything up. For me, it took flipping my whole life upside down. But I would much rather live life, kind of square life, what I would consider back when I was younger. But I'd rather be a square at home with my family and not have to worry about ever catching another case than to be on the streets, not knowing where I'm going to sleep, maybe not being able to shower, whatever. Or the links we reach to support our addiction and then them things. So, yeah, you're exactly right. It is like two lives because I got friends now that are, some of the people who helped me get sober, their social, just economic levels, even though, they were just in a higher economic class, and they still gave me that hand up. And that was, it was cool to see that, I just have such a different life now today than what I had, in 2011, just since then, my life's completely different. If you asked me in 2013 that, I'd be, in a 3-bedroom house and just, and be somewhat, have a somewhat stable, normal life is, within that amount of time, it was a pipe dream back then. It really, because I was just now really getting, into realizing I had a chance to get sober, So I just want to let people know the 12 steps, I mean, they work. The main thing I could say is plug into positive people. Because you're not going to change if you're around the same type of people. And I think that's where people getting out of prison are set up for failure a lot of times I think the prison system should really try to set people up to give them a new opportunity in a different area, just to give them a chance to not go back to the same exact place that they went to prison from. You know, because a lot of
Yeah,
times that's a negative family or a bad neighborhood, whatever. You know.
I totally agree.
So
Yeah. I think
that's
they should set you up for like, well, for in my instance, my the county that I was got in trouble in, they wouldn't let me come back. So I had to parole out to a separate county, which was the best thing that could have happened for me at that time because I went into a halfway house. And I mean, honestly, like I could move anywhere and find drugs, which I ended up doing because I relapsed, you know.
yeah,
But they set me up, at least at this time, they set me up in a better situation than I was if I had went back to where I was coming from, you know?
yeah, exactly. You have a chance to at least plug into new people and you know what I mean. It just I think it definitely gives you a better chance not to go back to where you came from. And I don't,
Yeah.
you know, at least in my state, they send you back, and I think that's the worst thing, you know, that they could do is send you back to the city you grew up in or whatever like that. So, but
I totally agree. So listen, I'm so glad that you came on and told your
thank
like
you so much.
I want all of my people that watch my channel to go subscribe to Jeff's channel because he kind of just glossed over his story here with me, but over on his channel, you can get the real details. I'm sure he's going to tell all the stuff like I tell over here on my channel. And that way you guys can like really get to know Jeff on a better, more personal level. And I just want you to say, like, I want you to know, Jeff, like, I couldn't, like, honestly, I can't even tell that you are like a blind or anything like that. Like, just so you know, like,
Yeah,
you can't, like, looking at you, and you seem just perfect to me. And I hope that you know that, like, stuff like that, that just makes you it's special. It's like a bonus that makes you different than everybody. And like, and don't ever let that like hold you back from doing
I
anything you want to
I
do.
actually don't. I always go something like the daredevil. You know, I don't let it. I don't. The only thing that stops me from is driving.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you know,
so
because I know for me as an addict, like my addiction started a long time ago, long before I picked up drugs and alcohol. And a lot of the things that I struggled with as a young child were thoughts in my mind, thoughts that I wasn't good enough, thoughts that I wasn't pretty enough, thoughts that I wasn't hanging out with the right kids, I wasn't cool enough. And so I'm sure, like, if
with
I've struggled, then I'm sure you struggled with that kind of stuff too, right?
yeah, no, I did actually when I started going through the steps. I'm glad you said that because when I went through the steps and everything, I started realizing like, oh, it was my insecurity because you know I was scared about going blind and this and that. And I just so you know, I mean, I got severe tunnel vision, so I have like a small tunnel of clear vision. So I have absolutely no peripheral. It's just like, you know, so I can see some, and I'm blessed for that because I could see my daughter's face, and that's a blessing enough in its own. But yeah, I mean, I realized going through the steps that it was the insecurities, the fears I had about myself, and some of them things that led me to my addiction, just like relapse. You know, I look back now to my relapses, and you know, you could see a relapse coming sometimes before you know what I mean? And that's the good thing about it working a program is you might be able to catch it before you actually use, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Because
one thing.
we have that change in our behaviors, or like for me, every time I've ever relapsed, it's because I stopped doing something that I was doing before that was helping me stay sober. Every time.
Yeah,
Like stop going to meetings or stop calling my sponsors and let's take the 12 steps out of it. Like I just stopped staying connected. Like I
yeah,
unplugged from my recovery people, you know?
yeah,
Um, and that's what it was all the time. And I pull away and I start isolating. And here on YouTube, I know I can't like be in everybody's business, but like I notice the people who come to my channel and who are on my chats. I know everybody, you know? And
yeah,
so a lot of times I'll see people and I won't see them for a while. And I'll think, oh my God, I hope they're okay. Like, because I just know like that's what I would always do. Like I would be so active and I would be right in the middle of recovery. And then I would just pull away, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, because you get the you know, and that's one thing. I did love about the people at my home, you know, because every meeting's different, you know, but that's one thing. I was really blessed with a good sponsor to where I never felt judgment. You know, it's hard to go back and tell someone when you relapse. That's a hard thing to do when you've had like, you know, I at times I had like 18 months under my belt and stuff like that. And, you know, it's hard to let people know that you did use, but it was the best thing going immediately back. That's the difference I'd say with my life today is, you know, that I was comfortable enough to go back and stay plugged into them people. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're definitely right. But I really appreciate you so much for having me on though. That's
Yeah.
all. And I'll come back on
Anytime.
anytime. Anytime, yeah. That sounds great. I
Anytime
got
you want to come on.
what's that?
Anytime you want to come on, you just text me and say, "Hey Nicole, I want to come on and chat with you. Can I come on?" And I'll say, "Okay." Anytime. Like I don't mind anytime if you want to come on. A lot of times, like on like Fridays when I do the mat support group, that's when I have like 25 people in the chat. If you want to come on and like share about because I know your wife is on medically assisted treatment, you can come on here and share, or she can come on with you. I mean, anytime.
Yeah,
If you need help, if you need help with
yeah.
your YouTube channel, or you just want to like anything you need, man, just reach out to me. I got you back. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll be in touch with you. Thank you so much.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, buddy. Okay. All right, you guys. Okay, guys. So that was David, and his channel is called, that was Jeff, and his channel is called The Recovery. THE and no space recovery. RECOVERY. Okay, guys. So let me see what y'all got going on here. Yeah, buddy. Have you hung up yet, Jeff? Here, let me see. He's hanging up. Okay, so let me see what y'all got going on. Thank you, Cindy. Okay, y'all. So do you guys have any questions? Do you guys want to talk about anything? Because if you don't, you know, your girl Nicole, I got all kinds of stuff I could talk about. So Cindy, did you like that?
You know we have a big giant hole busted in our wall now.
In our wall, where?
Behind
Do
us.
not pull that out, son.
I was trying to pull the plugger out so I can move my thing back.
Okay, well, let's not do that. He's being so good, you guys. You know he just wants to be over here talking. I love that you can have guests telling their stories now. I know, Krissy, me too. Okay, so that was awesome. You guys, seriously, go subscribe to his channel when you guys get a chance. I want to get back. Okay, so Cindy and then a couple of the old school people from the recovery community. I want to get back to what recovery is about, and that's helping each other, sharing each other's stories, you know, helping find each other's resources and just support. That's what recovery is about. And so I feel like what has happened, or what did happen for a long time here on YouTube, in the YouTube recovery community, is it became about, you know, self-promotion, and it became about like a popularity contest. And I'm not here for that, you guys. Like, I want to support everyone in their recovery, and it doesn't matter how big or small your channel is. If you have a channel and you are talking about recovery from addiction, recovery from anything really, I want to support you. I want to support you. And, you know, I'll do anything I can to help anyone who's trying to better their life. Because I remember what it was like to struggle for a long time, you guys. I cannot believe that I'm sitting here 4 years sober talking to you guys about being 4 years sober. I'm going to get a little emotional probably. I just can't believe it, you guys. I never thought I was going to be able to get sober. I never thought I would stop shooting methamphetamine and Roxy's. I never ever thought I would be able to stop. And so I just feel so blessed to be able to come on here and share that with you guys. You know I'm not special. I'm not like a celebrity. I'm just a girl who finally started caring about herself. I finally started putting me first and stopped looking for someone else to fix. For so many years, I didn't care about myself. So I would look for other people to invest time into. And I finally feel like I care about me. I'm changing. I'm doing better. I am a good person. It's amazing to me, you guys. Like, I can't even explain to you guys how freaking amazing it is to me to be here to share with you guys. Like, all I can tell you is that it's a damn miracle. It's a miracle. And that's how I feel. Like, I feel like it's a miracle, you guys. Yeah. And you know what, David? I accepted the fact that I was going to die a drug addict. And after my son was born, I was so scared because I knew I didn't want to leave my son. How long were you addicted? I was addicted for 15 years, from the time I was 17 till the time I was 32. I got sober at 32. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section right now, because I'm going to answer all your questions. It doesn't matter what the question is. You guys just ask away. And also, if you want to join the Real Talk Recovery Facebook group, I am on there right now, and I am going to send out invites if I see you guys in here. Okay. But any questions you guys have, please go ahead and ask them. I am here to answer anything you guys want to talk about. Miss Karen, honestly, I'm going to tell you, girl, I am so proud of myself. Honestly, I feel like I feel like it's a miracle. I'm proud of myself. I literally got a fridge magnet that says grateful I'm not dead. Okay, Chanel says, I am getting on Suboxone on Monday. I need help with precipitated withdrawals. Is that what you're talking about, Chanel? Precipitated withdrawals? Or, so here's the deal, Chanel. If you're going to be on Suboxone on Monday, are you using heroin right now? If you're using heroin right now, you're going to need to wait 24 hours before you take your first dose of Suboxone. Okay? Make sure you wait 24 hours, because if you don't, you will get sick. And welcome, Chanel. I'm so glad you're here. Now, if you're talking about PAWS, which is post-acute withdrawal syndrome, PAWS is like anything from depression, anxiety. It can be anything really. After you get sober, some of us go through post-acute withdrawal syndrome. And everybody does really. Only, like, for me, post-acute withdrawal lasted for I probably still am having remnants of it. You know what I mean? Yes, David, you learn quick whenever you rush onto your dose too quickly, you will get really sick. So yeah, that's what it is. Like, honestly, Karen, I am very proud of myself, but I can tell you that it's not like me. Like, something has been helping me do this, you guys. My higher power, God, has been guiding me in my life. And that's the only way I can explain it to you, is that God intervened for me. I'll go ahead and share. I'm going to share with you guys what catapulted me into my recovery. What really was the turning point for me. Okay, so here we go. In 2014, my son was born on July 4th. And the day my son was born, I was on drugs. I was high. I gave birth to my son, and I was so afraid that they were going to take him, you guys. Like, I knew they were going to, but they didn't. They ended up letting me have my son, and he ended up being perfect. Is all that's been in my body. Friday, Saturday, Sunday we'll have 15 milliliters of methadone is all that's been in my body. As long as you haven't taken any So if it's methadone that you're going from, are you going from methadone to Suboxone? Or are you going from heroin or pills to Suboxone?
Can I go pee-pee?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me know if you're trading from methadone to Suboxone or from heroin to Suboxone. And like I said, as long as you have a 24-hour period in between, you should be just fine. What happened to me, Chanel, was I had been shooting Roxy's, 30 milligram Roxy's, and I went into treatment on a Monday, and the last time I used was Sunday at 7 p.m. And I went into treatment by like 4 or 5 on Monday, and I took my first dose, and I was absolutely fine. So you should be okay. And if you're going, are you going to be getting it from the doctor? Because just let them know, and they'll be able to monitor you and make sure that you're going to be all right. But you should be okay. Okay. Just be honest and let your doctor know, what you're taking and what you've been taking, and don't be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed of, okay? Like, you're an addict, and it's totally normal to be like, for me, it was like I waited till the last minute, and I was like so afraid to go into withdrawal, but it was like sometimes we have to go through a little bit of withdrawal, you guys, to get onto the Suboxone first. I know. Hey, Annie. Annie's back. Nate, please get down, baby. Y'all, my son is driving me insane today. So, okay. So, when my son was born, I was under the influence, okay? Okay, so Krissy went from methadone to Subutex, and she waited 3 days, and it still sent her into acute withdrawal. So yes, Krissy, that's why I was asking if she was on methadone or not, because I know that with methadone, you guys, it will stay in your system a lot longer than a regular opiate. It's got a lot longer, half-life. I will tell you guys this, Chanel. If you are going to be here on Friday, you guys, Dr. B is going to come back and he's going to answer questions. So if you guys have questions that you need to be answered, please come over on Friday and hang out with us, because Dr. B will be here Friday. Yeah, well, with methadone, you guys, it's got a longer half-life than regular opiate does, like heroin. You can take a methadone and not go into withdrawal until the next day, not start experiencing anything like that. So thank you, Krissy. Go ahead and share your experience with Chanel, Krissy, because she's asking you some questions, and I didn't change from methadone to Suboxone, so I'm not sure. Okay, but just so y'all know, this is not medical advice. This is just us sharing our experience. Okay. Hey, Nick, what's going on? Oh, I start Monday. If you want something that helps with withdrawals that you can take over the counter, you can also use Imodium and Benadryl. It doesn't stop it, but it helps. Thank you, Sonia. So, yeah, it's 4 years, you guys. So, okay, what catapulted me into getting sober, you guys, was so I got home, I had my son, and I was like trying to stay sober, trying to do the mom thing. My husband was trying to, stay employed and work a job, because you guys know, if y'all didn't know, my husband is also an addict. And he has been sober for, I think, a year and a half, a little bit over a year now, I think. Hey, Nick. Usually people say 30 and under, but all last week I only took 20 to 15 milligrams. Usually I've only been taking 30, never more. Good, Chanel. You should be just fine. Just make sure you let the doctors know when you transfer over. Just take it easy. Do not be afraid, okay? Do not be afraid. If you can, wait as long as you can until you take your Suboxone dose, okay? It's been raining here, Cindy. So, okay. So I brought my son home, and I was trying to do the sobriety thing, you guys. And my husband was trying. We were both really trying. And I had horrible depression. After you have your baby, what is it called? Postpartum depression. Horrible postpartum depression. And you guys, it was just so difficult for me, because I've always really struggled with depression. And it got really bad after I had my son. So I got on Lexapro, and I think I stayed sober for 3 months, and then I ended up relapsing. And I relapsed really hard after I had my son, you guys. And I got back on the needle, and then a year went by, and actually 2 days before my son's birthday, DHS came to my door, and they took my son, y'all. And so when that happens, I want y'all to hear me. When DHS came to my door and they took my son, that changed my life forever. That was what had to happen for me. And do I think that has to happen to everybody? No. Have I seen some women who have had their children taken away and it didn't change them at all? Yes, many times. But for me, it was just the kick in the ass that I needed to change my life. When my son was removed from my care, it freaked me out, y'all. It scared me. I started tripping. I was so afraid that they were going to send him to a foster care house where they abused him, right? I mean, I was having these horrible nightmares. It was the scariest thing in my whole entire life. He was just turning 1 year old. And that day that they removed my son from my care, that day I went into detox. And I've never looked back since. Never. And that little boy, as much as he drives me insane some days, he is my motivation for staying sober. My son changed my life forever. My son saved my life. My son literally gave me unconditional love. He loves me no matter what. He loved me back then no matter what. And seeing him in another woman's arms with another family was the motivation and the kick that I needed to change my life forever. And I'm telling you what, you guys, some days I get depressed and I cry and I struggle. But I'm going to tell you guys this, y'all. There is nothing that could happen that would make me go back to get high. My son has changed my life forever. And I make sure that I tell him that. He saved my life. My son was an angel. And he was sent. When I got pregnant with my son, listen to me, you guys. I had been pregnant one time before I got pregnant with my son, and I had an abortion. After that abortion, I never had another pregnancy scare. And that abortion was when I was 24 years old. I got pregnant with my son at 31 years old. When I got pregnant with my son, I was so afraid. I was so afraid because I couldn't stay sober. When I share with you guys about this, I hope you know that I have beat myself up. I have had so much shame and so much guilt around me using while I was pregnant with my son. My son is the one thing that people know that they can say something about that I will get so pissed. My son is everything to me. And me admitting that I was high and that I used drugs while I was pregnant and when I gave birth is a huge vulnerability for me. But I feel like to share with you guys the extreme addiction, the seriousness of the problem I had, that I have to share with you guys the fact that I was strung out like I was. Pregnant and all. Hey, Jeff, thank you. I totally understand, man. I know how it is. Thank you for coming on, and I can't wait to have you over again. I was so strung out, you guys, that I used drugs against it didn't matter what it was. If I was pregnant with twins, it didn't matter. I was so addicted to drugs that nothing was going to stop me from using. And then when I had my son, I tried so hard, you guys, to stay sober, and I failed so miserably. Hey, Chanel, the reason they don't give Subutex is because it doesn't have the blocker in it. Now, you can get you can usually try to get a physician to prescribe it to you if you're having allergies to Suboxone. Now, so when you take your Suboxone, when you get on it, pay attention to underneath your tongue, and if it makes your tongue or your throat swell up, that's usually because you're having an allergic reaction to the naloxone. So if that happens, then then the doctor will put you on Subutex. Hardest thing to ever say. You are helping so many by being vulnerable. And Heather, like, I'm not proud of that, you guys. Like, that's the thing that I struggle with the most, forgiving myself. Because when I think back to being pregnant with my son, like, I don't have memories like you might have had where you were taking pictures with your belly and showing 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, all that stuff, and doing the heart on your belly and your husband holding your. I don't have that because I was strung out. I don't have that. I didn't get a belly until I was 8 months pregnant. I was so tiny. Of course you're not. But how will anyone have hope of not for YouTubers like you? Oh, sharing. Thank you, Chanel. Chanel, where did you find me at, girl? It's just been so. I want you guys to know, like, it's been these past 4 years have been. I have been. They have been emotional. I have been digging deep inside myself. And that's why I can sit here and tell you guys, like, I know that my addiction started long before I ever picked up substances. Because when I was younger, I was struggling so much with just not feeling good enough. And I still struggle with, hey, Sammy, I still struggle with not feeling good enough. I still struggle with just not feeling like I'm a part of, right? Chanel, I'm so glad you're here, girl. You are. Don't worry, you're gonna be here. You know what, Chanel? Here's my email. Email me, and I'll give you my phone number. Okay? There's my email, and we can talk on the phone. No, you're not blocked, Sammy. Why? It's just the last 4 years. I feel like. Okay, so honestly, you guys, the last 6 months have been such a good time for me here on YouTube. The 6 months before that were the struggle. When I first started my YouTube channel, you guys, I was very passionate about recovery. And I thought that the only way to get through to people was to just share with them and tell them how serious it was and that they didn't get sober, they were going to die, and all kinds of things. But that wasn't the bad part. I was very aggressive and very assertive when I would share. And what I learned is that some people, you have to pull them in by just being humble and just sharing your experience and just being truthful and honest and vulnerable, right? And since I have looked at my behavior and changed the way I speak to people about recovery, things have been just, my whole channel has taken a change for the better. We have such an amazing, accepting, loving community here on my channel. And it's because of the direction that we have taken. I want this to be an all-inclusive, supportive place here on my channel. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they're judged or they're not accepted. Okay? Yeah. So, Cindy, let's talk about shame and guilt. So, a lot of the times, you guys, I struggled so badly with the shame and guilt and going over my mind, right? about all the horrible things I did in my addiction. And you know what bothers me the most, you guys, is looking back on my life and seeing all the things that I didn't accomplish because of my addiction. Man, that burns me up. Looking back on my life and seeing that I could have done so much. I could have. Yeah, Heather, I think it did. And I was just, whenever I was aggressive and more just like blunt, it was because I was hurting on the inside. It was because I was fearful on the inside, right? And now it's like, I don't have that fear anymore, you know? I don't have that fear of being judged. I don't have that fear of not fitting in. I don't have that fear or that need to impress or be accepted by other people. But that took me a lot of work to get past that, you guys. For real. Because that's all I wanted when I first came on YouTube, was to be accepted by other people and be, you know, be with everybody. Yeah.
Can I tell you? Can I get something to drink and can I show on my toys?
Yes. What do you want to drink? Okay, come on. I know, right? Chanel, that's my baby boy. His name is Nate. He is my #1 fan, y'all. He actually wants to make a channel, you guys. And we were thinking about making a channel called Nate's World. Grab your cup, Nate. Come on, and we'll get you some chocolate milk.
I hate Nate's World.
You don't like that? So I'm just super excited to be 4 years sober.
Why are you so excited?
Because it's a party, baby.
Are you gonna do a drug? Are you doing a drug?
Yeah, you know what, you guys? I'm just gonna take it. I'm taking it slow. I'm doing my thing.
Are you doing a not drug?
And that's all you can do, you guys. Like, I'm not rushing. Who am I rushing? Like, seriously, who am I racing with? I have no rush, you guys. There's no rush. And so I see a lot of people. I wish you would have ran in my channel sooner, Sonia. I just love you so much. My kids are 3, 4, and 9. Aw, that's what's up. Chanel, welcome to the channel, girl. Stay around. Don't leave us. Yeah, girl, we got your back. Listen to me. I've worked my ass off to build a community of people that are kind, accepting, loving, and tolerant. Okay? We have worked together. You guys have helped me build this community to the way it is. And I am so grateful that you guys are like, you guys are winners. This is amazing. Do you guys see this? This is like a damn meeting, right?
Can you take these wheels off so I can drive them?
We are like having an amazing experience connecting with each other and talking with each other and supporting each other. That's what this is about. We're supporting one another. You know what I'm saying? Mom. This is amazing.
Hey, Mom.
David, you're amazing. Sammy, we see you, girl. We see you.
Can you unscrew this one with the skull one?
Yeah.
Just
unscrew what? This one? Why?
No, this one, so I can put the wheels on that one.
Put the wheels on this one? Okay. So yeah, you guys, I'm just going to keep on going. We're at the rate I'm going. So a lot of you guys know that I am tapering on Suboxone, and I'm taking it real slow. I'm down from 12 milligrams down to 8 milligrams. And then 2 weeks, I go back to the doctor, and I'm going to go down to 6, I think. And so I'm just going really, really slow. I'm not in any rush to jump off, honestly, because there's no rush. Like, I'm not competing with anybody. You know what I mean? I'm just taking it really, really slow, tapering, really slow, because I don't want to rush and like relapse. Okay. You guys, I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke pot. I don't do anything else except for take my medically assisted treatment and my Lexapro and Wellbutrin, which is for my antidepressant. And I'm telling you guys, if you're on medically assisted treatment and you are tapering, take it slow. There is no rush. Okay. Just do what you got to do. Follow your doctor's orders. If and when you get to a point and you don't feel comfortable, stick and stay. There's no rush. Look at me. Who are we rushing? Who are we racing? Right? Ourselves. We are the only people who we're racing with. I'm not competing with anybody, right?
And then like 1,000.
Girl, Sammy, we're proud of you, girl. But yeah, we're proud of you for getting off Suboxone. Why? I saw you when you came off Suboxone. I saw your live streams. I was over there because one of your very good friends, Cindy Lopez, came over and got me because you was struggling and says you were on a live stream for like 12 hours straight. So I went over there to make sure you was okay. I'm proud of you for getting off Suboxone, but if you're struggling and not staying sober since then that kind of defeats the purpose. But if you're not, that's great. I'm proud of you, girl. I want you to do good. I mean, I just think it's really important to be careful and make sure that you taper slow, because here's the thing, you guys. I see so many people jump off of Suboxone at 8 milligrams and they go through hell. They go through hell. And then I'm here to tell you that if you taper low and slow, I promise you, as low as you can get down, okay? As low as you can get down, you will have minimal withdrawals. Okay, minimal. I'm serious, you guys. And I've also experienced jumping off of, that's awesome, Sammy. I am so proud of you, girl. Like, seriously. Good freaking, that's amazing. I might given up drugs, but character defects are my problem today. By the way, holla from Portland, Oregon. Hey, Michael, what's up? Holla. Yeah, me too. I'm working on my character defects at the moment, actually. Every now and then they creep up and, well, not every now and then, like every single day. Honestly, Michael, like that's one of the things that I'm starting to realize is that a lot of my character defects are like me being full of fear. Do you guys know what a character defect is? Any of you guys that are in the chat? Character defects are like, okay, our flaws, the things, not our flaws physically, but like our flaws that we deal with every day. Like, okay, I'm full of fear. Sometimes I can be very manipulative. That's a character defect that I used to struggle with a lot when I was first started dating my husband, because I thought he's a man. I need to, get him on my good side, and I need to. But now it's like the longer our faults, yeah. The longer I stay sober and the more that I work on doing the right thing. So here's the thing. Thanks for bringing that up, Michael. I appreciate that. So character defects we all have them. Nobody's perfect. We all have character defects. Some of our character defects will show themselves more prominently than other character defects, right? So here's one that I have that's real. I struggle with it right now today. Jealousy. Okay. Jealousy as in like, I have a friend of mine, if that's a girl, and then she made another friend, and I feel like I feel kind of left out, and I kind of feel jealous of their new friendship, and I think that boils down to insecurity and fear of losing this friend to this other friend. And so that's a character defect that I've been struggling with. I work on staying open-minded. Oh, I think that's why I can't see your message, Sammy. Your message looks part of your name. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's probably what it was. So open-mindedness, okay? So a lot of us are taught, okay, so when you're young, you're taught like fundamental ideas that you grow up with, right? Like the things that your parents taught you, like right from wrong. For me, being open-minded has come really easily until I started until I got on medically assisted treatment. And when I got on medically assisted treatment, it was really hard for me to remain open-minded because I felt like I was being attacked by so many people that were judging my sobriety. I felt like other people were telling me that my sobriety was not valid and that my recovery was nothing because I was on medically assisted treatment. And that was really hard for me, you guys. And so, again, my main character defect that showed its face while I was going through that was fear. It's always, a lot of times it comes down to me being afraid, you guys. And I will act out in anger, or I will act out in, aggressively because I'm afraid. It hurts to be judged by other people. It's not a good feeling. It actually really sucks. And I think that if we could all put ourselves in other people's situations and realize that, being judged really hurts. It hurts and it's uncomfortable. Also, Cindy, jealousy for me, I had to start learning that a lot of people, when they start seeing you grow, isn't that normal, Nicole? What, David? Being open-minded? Struggling with open-mindedness? The way you speak is so strong and kind and open. It's crazy. You're so comforting. Thanks, Chanel. Sammy, girl, now we don't know you, girl. You got to come over here and come into the chat and let us all know who you are. So, y'all, Sammy has to type in caps because she has dyslexia. Okay, Sammy, we thought you were yelling at us. It's all good. It's all good, girl. You are welcome here, okay? You're welcome here. To want to fit in and to not want to. Yes, it is normal, I feel like. But I feel like what happened for me, you guys, is like I was trying to be accepted by everyone. And for me, it really hurt me because I felt like if one person like rejected me, it made me feel like everybody was rejecting me. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I think I just struggled a lot with not accepting my own self. And, Nate, this one screw is not coming out, okay? I can't do it. So what happened was for me, I used to be let me tell you guys a little story. Before I got on Suboxone, I used to really look at people who were on Suboxone and judge them. I judged them because I had a preconceived notion that if you were on Suboxone, that you were getting high. And I thought that it was just a way to beat the system. Okay? Yes, baby. I thought it was just a way to beat the system and stay using drugs. It's this one, Nate. You have to unscrew these ones. Is that what you're trying to do? It's so hard. I can't turn them, Nate. I'm telling you. I wouldn't lie to you.
Okay.
So what happened to me, and this is me being so open and honest with you guys. I feel like what happened, or what God did, my higher power did for me, was he taught me, and I wasn't in recovery when I was judging people. I've never been in recovery except for one time, and that was when I got out of prison and I paroled out to a halfway house, and I stayed sober for 9 months. So at that time, you guys, when I stayed sober for those 9 months, there was a guy who lived at the halfway house with me, and he was on methadone. And I remember just thinking, he's just on methadone so he can stay getting high. And I judged him. I judged his recovery. And I don't know, now that I look back on it,
Let's try to screw it.
I judged his recovery
Let's try to screw it.
because I felt uncomfortable around him because he was on methadone and I was barely making it sober. And I basically wanted to take his methadone. But I was judging him in my mind thinking, well, you're not really sober, right? I thought this, you guys. And 5-6 years went by and I had my son and I went into detox. And when I came out of treatment, you guys, I was in treatment for 30 days. I came out of treatment and my son was in the state's custody, right? Right. We never know what somebody else is going through. I was in the state's custody, you guys, and my son was in the state's custody. And I wanted to use so bad that day. And I remember looking at my husband and crying, just crying, like, I can't lose my son. I'm going to lose my son. And that's when my husband told me that he got put on Suboxone while I was in treatment.
I got one off.
Okay. And so at that moment, I knew that I had to make a decision. And so I got put on Suboxone that day. And I'm telling you guys, like, medically assisted treatment helped me to get a solid foundation in my recovery. It helped me to be able to go out, work a job, get a sponsor, work the 12 steps, help other people, and do these things that I was struggling because I was craving opiates so bad, right? I took it really, so finally I just had to look at myself and I had to stop judging other people because here I was faced with the same situation that I was judging somebody else for. And when somebody like it's like seeing yourself in the mirror. Do you know what I'm saying? It was like, here I was judging these other people's journeys who were struggling, who were hurting in the inside, who were just going through it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just hard, you guys, because when somebody's going through a struggle, it's like the last thing they need is someone judging them for being on a medically assisted treatment. So that's just not something that we do over here, okay? I know, David, me too. And so that's why I wanted to share that with you guys, because I struggled with the same thing. Like I used to look at other people's journey and compare myself and compare my own journey to their journey, right? Hey, Tim, what's up? What are you doing? Do you want to come on and share a little bit tonight? If you do, let me know. So we're just chatting. I got my laptop on, and if you want to, just throw me your email and I'll send you a link. So that's one thing, you guys, that in recovery, it is very important for us all to remember that we don't know what someone else is going through. Okay? And so it's very selfish and self-centered to judge somebody else's journey. Can you come on tomorrow so I can watch you just till Monday and I can feel better? Girl, yeah, I'll be on. What time do you guys want to do a live? Oh, tomorrow's Sunday. Well, guess what, Chanel? On Sundays, I do the Narcotics Anonymous basic text, and we are in the chapter of how it works. And we are on, what step were we on, you guys? Step 3, huh? We are on step 3, baby. Things that we hear and are told to us first about something or a subject, it becomes our default. We then have to learn about it and educate ourselves in order to change that default. Absolutely. Okay, Tim, that's what's up. So tomorrow, you guys, I will be doing the step 3. So if you guys are just chilling around the house and you're struggling or you just want some support, be here tomorrow. We're going to be going over step 3. I've got the NA basic text. That's where I'll be reading from. In fact, let me go get it.
I think FDTV said to say something really, really gross to them.
What, baby?
Hey.
I love you. Okay. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. We're going to be reading step 3. So let me tell y'all what step 3 is, okay? Okay. Step 3. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. Okay? So that's the step that we're going to be going over tomorrow. And let me tell you guys, step 3 is all about your higher power. And as you can hear in that step, it says God, but after that it says as you understand him. So just so you know, if you don't believe in God, don't run away. Don't run away. Stay here. Okay? Your higher power is specific to you. Okay? Take your time. I just want to know how I'll feel. People say you still feel icky for a few days, or will I feel better within the hour of taking it? So Chanel, you're going from like methadone to Suboxone, right? Girl, hey, Krissy, I'm really not sure. Yeah. So just understand this. If you're feeling shitty because you're coming off methadone, then I promise you when you take Suboxone, you'll feel better. And listen to me, you guys. Suboxone and methadone are not the cures to addiction. Okay, let me make that really clear. Suboxone and methadone are not cures to anything. But I'm telling you guys this. If you use medically assisted treatment combined with therapy, and a 12-step program, you will be successful in your recovery. If you follow the doctor's orders and you take it slow, right? And you take it slow, all right? And you don't jump off and you listen to your doctor, then you will be just fine. Hey, Michael, who's a troll? I just want to know how I'll feel. People say she posted earlier today, Chanel. If you don't watch it, really have your video. Okay, so anyways, let me know who you're talking about, Michael, so that way I'll know what's going on. Okay. So step 3, that's what we're going to talk about. And like I said, I want you guys to know that this is like an all-inclusive channel, you guys. I want you guys all to feel like you can come here and, oh, tools. I got you. That's right. Tools. I just seen it. Okay, Nicole, I'm going to take my nephew to the drive-in tonight. I hope everyone has a safe night. Take care, everyone. Bye, David. Love you, babe. Yes, they're tools. And there's no cure for addiction, you guys, okay? It can be arrested, though, if we are diligent and we seek treatment, okay? There's no cure for the disease of addiction. It is a mental obsession. It centers in the mind and the body, you guys, okay? And, okay, so for instance, how a person stays sober, okay? Let's talk about it. Staying sober, you guys, is a combination of things all together. It's all these working parts, okay? It's not just about stopping drugs. It's about healing on the inside, healing from the inside out, all right? If I don't address the problems that I'm having inside, if I don't address my insecurities, my sadness, my pain, right? Then I am going to go out and get high. All right, because I'm going to search for relief. So that's why for my people who are using medically assisted treatment, that's why a lot of us struggle at the beginning. When we get on Suboxone or we get on methadone, we will reach for that substance to overtake it because we're still trying to medicate with drugs, with medicines. And so that's why for me, I had, it's always so important for you guys to be honest. If you are on medically assisted treatment and you are struggling with overtaking your medication or taking it because you want to feel differently or anything like that, you've got to be honest with your doctor, you guys, because so many people struggle with this and then they go to get off Suboxone and they relapse. And you know why they relapse? Because the problem was they were never addressing the problem. They just started overtaking Suboxone, and now they're left with the same problem they had when they got started. Okay? Exactly. So we have to fix ourselves on the inside. That way, when it's time to start your taper, if you do choose to taper, because everybody is different, you guys. If you stay on medically assisted treatment for the rest of your life, that is your prerogative. Everyone is different. There is no one person who has an addiction the same as the next person. Everybody's circumstances are different. It's so important for us all to remember that. No one person is the same. Someone else, I'm telling you, please, you guys, no matter what. I know it's so easy to get caught up in this like attitude that one way is the highway. So many people, everyone's experience is different. Everything is different, you guys. Yes, it is a spiritual malady. We have a void inside of us, right? So while if you are on medically assisted treatment, you use that as a tool while you are seeking that help and you are healing on the inside and you are getting connected spiritually to your higher power, okay? Do not think that you can rely on Suboxone or methadone to keep you sober. Because when you get off of it, if you do not have a strong support system, a strong program, a strong connection with your higher power, you guys, things will go left and you'll fall off. Okay, I've seen so many people do this, okay? I do have a treat for you guys coming up on Thursday, though. I have an amazing success story of a young lady named Leanne, one of my very good friends. She tapered off of methadone successfully, and now she's going back to college and getting a job at a treatment center. And I cannot wait to have her on the channel on Thursday. She's going to share her story with you guys, and you guys are going to get to see firsthand that when you combine medically assisted treatment with therapy and a program of recovery, and you get yourself some support and you get connected spiritually to your higher power, that you can succeed in recovery. And no matter what, you guys, as long as you know that triggers, thoughts, guess what? That's exactly what they are. They are just thoughts. We don't have to act on those things today. Hey, Heather. Thanks, girl. Matt is medicine if used correctly. If you're trying to use it the same way as drugs, then you only hurting yourself further. Right. Okay, and listen, you guys, that's why it's so important for me. Like, I want you guys to know that I support all recovery. If you are in AA and you are totally abstinent, damn, I am proud of you. Honestly, that is my goal. That is my personal goal. Does that mean that it's going to be everybody else's personal goal? No. Okay? No. And I'm aware of that. And I want you guys to know that I support you no matter what your goal is. I'll tell you this. When I first got on Suboxone, my goal was to never get off of it. I had no intentions of ever tapering. I was going to stay on it for the rest of my life. Okay. And that's completely fine. But as I worked the steps, the more connected I got, the more things changed and things started shifting. And I just decided that I wanted to try, And so I might try and fail and come back and say, you know what, screw that. But I'm just telling you guys, like, it's the opportunity that I can take because I want to try, But it's my life. And today I'm thriving and I'm happy and I'm sober and I'm changing and growing every single day in my recovery, you guys. like you guys are watching me with your own eyes change and grow over time. This is a miracle for me, you guys. A miracle. Hey, Jason. Okay, Tim, what is your email address? Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, guys. Am I here now? Can y'all hear me now? I accidentally muted it. Okay, cool. Okay, did you get that invite, Tim? Can you hear me, Annie? Hello, hello. What? Can you guys hear me yet? What? Hello? Okay. I was like, I'm here. Nate, do you want some ice cream, baby?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. So I got Tim coming on, you guys. So we'll hear Tim. Hey, he's here, guys. He's here. Nate, be quiet. We got somebody coming on the channel.
What?
We got Tim coming on the channel. Can you hear me? Because I can see you. Hey, Tim, what's up?
Not much. Just got home from a meeting. That was perfect timing.
That's awesome. So, you guys, this is Tim. He also has a YouTube channel called Addiction Recovery, right?
Yep.
And he actually has 10 months sober, right?
Yep. A little over 10 months. What's today? The 13th? I got 10 months and 1 week today.
That is so awesome. Oh my gosh. So, Tim, will you share with everybody a little bit about your story, kind of like what it was like before you got on drugs, what it was like while you were on drugs, and what it's like now?
Okay. I guess let's start back at the beginning. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 10 years old, partially because I thought it made me look cool. But to be honest, if I think back, I did it because it made me high. To be honest with you, I used to spin around in circles just because it made me feel high. I really didn't start using drugs until my sister was murdered when I was 17, and I didn't have any coping mechanisms. I'm the youngest, and so I started smoking pot and drinking heavily drinking. I mean, I drank probably from the time I was 17 till I was 27 every single day until I discovered opiates. And then once I discovered opiates, I would drink, but that was only a fallback then. It was opiates were my drug of choice. I consider myself a trash can junkie, which that means I would use anything as long as I wasn't in my own head. I started out normally. Firstly, I started, drinking, smoking pot like everybody. I'm sure most people do. I shouldn't say everybody. That's a pretty blanket statement. And then I got addicted to cocaine. Was my first hard drug I got addicted to. And then I discovered amphetamines. And then I switched to them. And then I worked in a factory building semi-trailers. And I got hurt. And so the doctor had given me painkillers. And well, you know how doctors like to give painkillers, and they kept me on them for like 2 years, and they cut me off cold turkey. So I started buying them on the black market, and I mean, you know how the progression goes. One thing led to another, and pretty soon it was too expensive to take pills, so I started doing heroin. And then once I shot up, it was all over after that. I mean, there's no more lines to cross. Essentially, I mean, like, I would pretty much shoot up anything I could get in a needle. And then I got arrested in 2013, and when I got out of jail, I stayed clean because I didn't, I'd been in jail, I've been in jail for it was all misdemeanor crap. But if I screwed up this time, I was looking at 2 to 7 years. So I straightened up until my probation was over, and then I got what happened was I got hurt at work again, and I went to the doctor at the emergency room, and they're like, you got to take something for your pain. I had testicular torsion. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's very unpleasant. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, you told me about it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so they gave me fentanyl, and I woke up next morning. I wasn't jonesing, I'd been clean for almost a year at that point, and they gave me that fentanyl. I woke up the next day, and I didn't jones, and I wasn't dope sick, and I thought, oh, that's awesome, and I didn't think nothing of it for but about a week later, my addict brain tells me, it says, hey man, you didn't get sick that last time you used it, and I had carpal tunnel at the time, so it won't hurt for me to take a couple Vicodins, obviously, So I took a couple Vicodins, and then I thought, you know what, we'll go get the Vicodins to tall boys. So, within a month within a month of using that, of the doctors giving me that fentanyl, I never shot up again, thankfully. But I was back to, I mean, within a month, my tolerance was right back to where it was. I mean, I could eat like 10 Vicodins at once, and I mean, it wouldn't even put me on the nod. And so that relapse lasted about 3 years or so, and I lost the my girlfriend broke up with me, and she broke up with me in a very nice way though, which is something I'm not used to. I'm used to being told, "Hey, you're a piece of shit, get out of here." But she I mean, well, that and another funny story is that was the first girl I'd ever asked out sober. I was terrified. I had no idea how to ask someone on a date sober because the old joke, like, how do you know an addict's on their first or second date? They're moving into each other.
Yeah, they got a U-Haul. They got a U-Haul.
Yeah, but anyway, we're still good friends. She's actually very supportive of me. But I mean, I understood. I mean, she did what she thought was best. She wanted to protect herself and her child, which is understandable. I'm just glad that she's still my friend. I mean, she was not only my girlfriend, she was my best friend. So I'm very grateful that, you know, she's still my friend. So I got lucky on that aspect. Not I can't say that that happens for everybody.
Yeah.
And when I went, you know, my higher power is a little bit unorthodox. It's a little
That's
different
what I
than
want you to share with
everybody
everybody.
else's. I am an atheist, and but my higher power is, I guess you would call it. At first, I used the group, you know, good orderly direction, group of drunks, group of druggies, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it's grown since then. Now I think of love and altruism as my higher power, because that's an absolutely real thing. It's absolutely real. I mean, it's not that much different than everybody else's higher power. I mean, John 3:16 pretty much says that God is nothing more than love. You know, I mean, that's essentially. I mean, in my eyes, anyway, that's the way I think. But that really screwed me up a lot at first, because, you know, I know each group is autonomous, and we have a lot of people that like to force their God onto other people. And it
Yeah.
took me a little while to get to get it through my head that, look, my higher power is my higher power. Your higher power is your higher power. You know, I work my program, you work yours. That's what it boiled down to for me.
Right.
But like I said, it took 10 years, and thankfully that there's no limit, or else I would have been booted years ago. I mean, and I but the last month or so, I don't know, I've been in a kind of a funk, and I've been isolating myself again, and I was even more miserable than I was when I was using, you know. And I'm like, oh man, I got to do something, like. And I knew I should have went to a meeting all along, but you know how addicts are. We're hard headed.
So
We
tell me
think.
this, Tim. Since you tell me this, when you went to a meeting tonight, right?
Mhm.
So you came back from the meeting, and do you feel 1,000 times better?
Oh, absolutely. I went yesterday. Yeah, I went the last 3 meetings in a row, and I don't know why I was. I texted my friend and I said, "Hey, this was a few days ago. It would have been Wednesday." And I said, "Is the meeting at 6 or 8? Because they just recently had a business meeting and changed the time, so I wasn't sure." Um, he said, "It's right now. Get your ass up here." So I went up there, and he's like, I gave him a ride home, and he kind of laughed, and I said, "Thanks for the push. You know, I needed it." And he said, "No problem." He's like, "I know how you are, and sometimes we need a little extra push." But
And I feel like what we do is we're our own worst enemies, and we
we are
start.
absolutely.
And so
Like,
sometimes I need the same thing. I just need that little extra push. And what I found here on YouTube is that the sense of community and fellowship that we have here,
mhm.
it inspires me so much to keep doing better and to keep doing what I need to do, because it's like amazing to me. And so when I compare going to a meeting for me, like being inside of a church when the Holy Ghost breaks out and everybody, like the
Right.
Spirit of God is there, and you're like, hell yeah. And that's what I feel like when I come out of a meeting. I feel like I just got spiritually fed. That's it. Spiritually fed.
Well, I have another channel. That's my other channel is like kind of like a skeptic channel. Like, I debunk like science deniers, pseudoscience, flat Earth, stuff like that. Like, I really have a not a hatred, but I really think that they should crack down on these snake oil salesmen that are encouraging people to drink industrial strength bleach. I think that should definitely be against,
What?
Yeah, it's called MMS, and they think it cures everything, but it's essentially industrial strength bleach.
Oh no,
Um,
sir.
yeah, it's like some new age stuff, um, but so I pretty much I've done every drug under the sun. Like I said, as long as it kept me out of my head right here, right now, that was all that mattered. But when the drugs stop making, I mean, when you're just as miserable, fucked up as you are sober, I mean, there's no point to keep, you know, keep trying to chase that dragon. You're not going to catch it, you know.
Yeah.
So, and just this last month or so, I talked to my sponsor today, and he's like, and I was pretty sheepish, you know. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry I haven't called you lately. He's like, I knew you'd call me when you're ready. He's like, you know, I'm not going to chase you down. That's not my job. And I picked the hardest ass sponsor I could find because I know that I'm hard headed. I'm very hard headed. So I figured, you know what? The guy that I hated the most when I first went into meetings is now my sponsor, one of my best friends. So that's kind of funny how that works out that way. But you know, I hated him because he was telling me shit I needed to hear that no one ever else had the balls to tell me. You know, that's what it boiled down to.
Yeah,
And
it's hard to hear the truth about yourself. You
it
know,
is very hard to say. It is very hard to, you
and
know.
it's uncomfortable because it's like, you know, we know that deep down inside, and it's hard when someone else is telling you about it. But it's like all anybody wants, if they're your sponsor or mentor or accountability partner, is for you to be better and to succeed, you know. And that's what that's what we all want for each other. You know, I have girls that I don't really particularly get along with them, but they're in recovery, and I want them to succeed. I don't want them to die of the disease of addiction.
Exactly. Well, I have my best friend is an alcoholic, and he was doing good. He was living with me. When he got out of rehab, you know, his mother done. I mean, I shouldn't say it that way. He's in his 30s, but his parents had enough, and his dad moved away, and his mom moved away. He's an adult, so I let him stay here with me when he got out of rehab, and he was doing good for like. I think he had something like 400 and some days, and then he relapsed. And finally, I just had enough, and I said, you know, I said, I think it's, you know, like today he texted me, he said, hey, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm getting ready to go to a meeting. I said, you want to come? He said, hell no. I said, why not? I said, the only requirement is that you want to stop drinking, you know? I mean, I know you're not. I'm like, you can sit and try to lie to me and tell me you're happy, but I know you're not, you know? I mean,
Right.
I don't know why you try to lie to me about it. I mean, but
I think it's because we're trying to lie to ourselves. We're trying to talk ourselves into it and say, you know what? Yes, I'm happy. Yes, I feel good. But any person in their right mind doesn't sit there and pump themselves full of alcohol and drugs and feel good about it, you know?
Yeah. Like I mean, like I missed when I had before my last relapse, I had 11 months and 3 weeks. I almost wonder if I sometimes wonder if I sabotage myself because that year scared me. But I don't know. That's neither here nor there. That's in the past. I don't worry about that now. I live for today. Sometimes it's only for an hour if that's what it takes, you know.
True that.
You know, some days are.
I've heard a lot of people say that they struggle. I struggle every time my yearly birthday comes around. I go into a depression about 2 weeks before the birthday hits. And so my first year of sobriety, I was freaking out when my 1 year was coming up. My second year of sobriety, I was in New York with my parents. Mm-hmm. And every time I've hit a yearly mark, I either think about celebrating with alcohol or taking a Xanax. I don't know what it is. Every time. And like I was telling everybody earlier, if I could get high without ruining my life, without having negative consequences, without losing my son, without hurting myself, the feeling produced by drugs and alcohol or by drugs is, for me, it's a good feeling, but it's the consequences and the horrible things that come afterward.
Exactly. Like I got a shirt when I was down in Durkin a couple of years ago. It's Radiant Illinois Regional Conference of Narcotics Anonymous, and it says, "I'm allergic to narcotics. I break out in handcuffs." And I thought I loved that shirt. It doesn't fit me very well anymore, but I still have it just to remind me. And you know, you know, like. We don't have NA in my town. I live in a fairly small Midwestern town. I live in Illinois. Probably. Have you ever heard of like Rock Island or Moline or Davenport, Quad Cities.
Moline, I've heard of Moline.
Okay, well, I live about 45 minutes east of there. And if you've ever heard of another bigger town in Illinois is Peoria, I live about 50 minutes north of there. So I pretty much live in central, a little bit further north, but pretty much central Illinois. But my friend, I was telling him, you know, like I'm like, what are you gonna do? You know, I mean, not only did he moved out of here, but he moved in with another alcoholic, and I'm like, dude, that's just asking for trouble, you know. I mean, and the weird thing is I'm not. I mean, you guys don't know him, so this doesn't matter if I tell you this, but his doctor is also one of us, okay? And his doctor prescribes him 120, or I think it's 120. Yeah, 120 Fic 10s a month, 90 Xanax. He gives them what's that thing they give to alcoholics? That's a benzo, but it's not very Librium.
Oh, Librium, yeah.
Yeah, he's got him all these narcotics. And I'm like, why would your doctor, knowing you have a alcohol and drug problem, give you all these drugs? And he even OD'd on fentanyl, and he still didn't take the narcotics away from him. And I was just, I'm like, that doctor's not doing you any favors, dude. I'm like, you know, he's just not, plain and simple. And I don't know.
Dangerous.
Yeah, it is a conflict of interest. That's what I said too, because I was in nursing for 18 years, and that's insane that a doctor would do that. I mean, what is the Hippocratic Oath for, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, but and like I said, like our AA thankfully isn't like, you know, I know that some AAs are very strict about alcohol. They say, hey, we have other programs for people that if you have other problems. Well, you know, I have, this is the only game in town. I have to drive an hour to go to an NA meeting, and I like NA. Don't get me wrong. I love NA, but let's face it, there's not as much sobriety in NA as there is in AA around here, anyway. I mean,
it's the same way here, and
you know, drug addicts are flaky.
Mom,
AA has a bigger like people with 30, 60 years of sobriety in there, and in NA it's so much. It's a newer program. You know what I'm saying?
And there's so much.
AA has always accepted me, and AA has accepted me even though I'm on Suboxone. Right. And that's why I love Alcoholics Anonymous, because they would never, I just love it. I've never had a problem with sharing in a meeting. I have never had a problem with getting involved in my home group, anything like that. And I'm truly grateful for that, because I hear so many stories about people who are on medically assisted treatment that get treated like shit when they go to Narcotics Anonymous. They're told they can't share. They're told they keep coming back. We hope you get clean one day. That's just bullshit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, that would be like telling someone with high blood pressure, "Oh, you can't take your blood pressure medicine because you're taking drugs." You know,
right?
If you're taking your subs the way you're supposed to, and you're not abusing them, which I don't know why people would try to abuse them, because are you a member of any of the Reddit groups? There's a Suboxone Reddit group.
Yes, I am.
And like, I wonder sometimes. I'm like, you know, I'm like, why aren't the mods more strict? I mean, like, these people talk about like, hey, how long do I have to stop taking subs before I can take this? You know, like,
right.
You know, there's Reddits for that. If you want to still get high, fine, that's your problem. But we're here for recovery. We don't need to hear that bullshit. You know, I don't care about what what bag you had last night. You know, and
Reddit is like a free for all, and so that's why. Like, I'll stop in on Reddit to share and say, "Hey guys, come over to the channel," and I leave a link, and then I'm gone, because Reddit will trigger me so bad, because they show pictures of drugs.
Yeah, and they're so what's the word I'm looking for? They're so judgmental. Like I'll say something that, like, if I would say in a normal meeting or that kind of like say like Narcotics Anonymous, the 24/7 chat and meetings, it would, you know, it's a normal saying. I get downvotes. I'm like, why would you downvote something I say that's a positive thing? I mean, I don't understand. Why are you even here? You know, I mean, if you're not here to get
That's
clean.
why I don't like seriously. I remember my friend Her Opiate Fix, he has a channel. He made a video about it too. We were talking about Reddit like a year ago, and we were like, do not go there if you're trying to stay sober, because it's just a free for all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's why I'm so happy that there's like places like our channels where,
Right.
like I said, if you guys haven't subscribed to Tim's channel, Annie put his channel in the, there you are, Addiction and Recovery. There you are. You guys go subscribe to Tim's channel, because we are trying to build a community where if you guys come on and I'm not on a live stream, or I didn't make a video today, you can slide on over to Tim's channel or Jeff's channel.
Yeah.
They'll have a video up. And that's what this is about. It's like we're all supporting each other. And that's what this is what the recovery community is supposed to be like. We're all supposed to be helping each other and doing the next right thing. If one of us starts falling off or slipping, then we help each other up and tell each other, hey, Tim, I see you isolating. Come back over here to the community. We missed you. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's not because I'm hating on Tim. That's because I love Tim. I don't want him to relapse. I want him to stay sober. And I noticed he hadn't been around. You know,
Right. That's how you hit me up and you're like, hey, what's going on? I haven't seen you around. Get your butt back on here, you know?
right.
And that's what it's about, you know? That's what it's all about.
And we can't get our feelings hurt or worry about, because that's not what my intentions are. Like, I'm always going to come to you and say, hey, like, I miss you, and I want you to be, I don't want nobody to fall off, you know?
Mom,
Yeah, buddy.
can I have my noodles now?
Yes, baby. But anyway, Tim, I love you. Everybody come subscribe to Tim's channel. I'm going to jump off here and charge my computer up, but I'll see you later, okay?
Awesome. Thank you for your shout out. And I'm 24 away from 100. Once I have 100, I'll be able to keep my name, so it shouldn't be hard to find. Right now, you have to I guess it's getting easier to find since I'm so close. But
I'll help you. We'll do another video together where we just sit on here and shoot the shit, okay?
Okay.
All right, love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Hey, I'm fixing to take you down through there, son.
Hold on.
Okay, and that.